Oh my God. Hello and welcome to the Ponds here at Kellyville for our final game, match 6 here at the Emerging Nations World Championships. We've got Greece taking on Vanuatu. So both teams getting ready to get with the kickoff. Just in their little huddles. A big thank you to all the members helping out with this coverage here on Bar TV so far. It's all started with Dan McKemley this morning, and also we've had Dave Wild chipping in, James Preston as well. And we'll have Lee Addison, the Polish coach, up here, and we've also got a very special guest joining us here in the commentary. Hopefully we'll get a few throughout the day. We've got Terry Libropoulos from the Greeks. You're actually the manager of the Greek Rugby League. Good evening, Terry.
Good evening. It's great to be here. It's not the best days here. It's very wet, very rainy, and I think the rain is just starting to fall heavily as soon as this game gets underway.
Yeah, it's been an amazing 3 or 4 days, hasn't it? The rain we've had here in Sydney. But look, hopefully the guys are enjoying it. Probably not so much.
We'll find out after 80 minutes.
So it'll be Vanuatu to kick off. Andrew Kaltunga, the halfback for Vanuatu. Interesting here, we've got the battle of the dreadlocks here on the close side of the camera. We've got Mitch Zampalides, James Wood of Vanuatu, and we're underway here. The final game of the Emerging Nations World Championships, Day 3, here at the Ponds at Kellyville, and Michael Korkitis takes the first hit up of the match. And Greece went down to Hungary in the first match, Terry, but still a chance to make the semi-finals here of a victory today.
Yeah, that's right. All they need is just a win. And you've got to remember, against Hungary, we fielded 4 guys from the Greek domestic competition. We fielded 2 17-year-olds, 3 18-year-olds, and 2 19-year-olds. You know, it was a lot of guys that haven't played together, and it was just great to blood them into the Greek side, and they did very well.
So Vanuatu now with their first opportunity with the ball, bringing this out of their own territory. And just tell us a little bit about the Greek domestic competition. He's had a World Cup qualifier just a few weeks ago against the Ukraine, so a lot of those players couldn't make it.
Well, we just played, 3-4 weeks ago. We played Ukraine. We beat them 28-26, and 13 out of the 17 players were from the Greek domestic comp. The same with against Malta, 13 of them. it is a big financial burden to bring everyone here. That's why we just bought the 4. Had we not been playing in the World Cup qualifiers, we probably would have bought 8 to 10 players. Look, the guys in Greece, they're doing a great job. There's a lot of work to be done, but we've got 5 teams starting up the new season next month, and a lot of guys there that just love rugby league. And we just announced also the women's international against Turkey. That's what we played probably around March, April in Turkey.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, you could probably mark it back to the World Sevens back in the early 90s, where all these European nations got involved. How did the Greek Rugby League start?
Well, we actually looked at maybe playing in the World Sevens, but then they stopped it when the Super League War came. And then I was actually on the plane with the New South Wales student side going to New Caledonia. It was the first time New Caledonia was playing rugby league. And I had a guy there who was one of the trainers, Colin, and we looked at the setup and we said, look, if these guys can start rugby league, why can't we just start with the Greek Rugby League? And we all started from there. We put an ad in the Rugby League Review, and from that first day it came out, we had people ringing us up saying we want to be part of the Greek Rugby League. And from then on, 2006, we went over to Greece, played Serbia in the first game. It took us a few years until 2012, and there was a bloke called George Stelianos there and a few other guys, Michalis and Jim Anadakis and a few other guys there. Sorry if I've left the names out, but they're the ones that started, doing the rugby league there in Greece, and it's been going now for 6 seasons.
Yeah, it's got a pole obstructing me there. We'll have to look at the screen to see what happened there. Just a false start there from the scrum. We've got Lee Addison from the Polish Rugby League, the coach. He's joining us too now on the mic. So we've been blessed with co-commentators now all of a sudden. And I'm just going to be careful I don't get myself tangled up. I've already been head-eye tackled by James earlier.
I don't think people realise we're standing on milk crates here and trying to look over people's head. It's not as glamorous as people think it is.
We wouldn't have it any other way on Bar TV Sports, but we'll do our best here. And as we see the Greeks with the ball, I'll just turn around and call a couple of these plays here. But Gonzalez at dummy half. I'll go out to the left-hand side. He's a very good run and brought down on the AstroTurf. Have you guys experienced the AstroTurf before?
Not really, no.
Here's an easy try.
Great try there. That's Adam Branos there, plays for Sydney University, and he scored the first try last week and scores the first try this week for Greece.
Oh, he's got the double. So a good start for the Greece side. First time down in the Vanuatu territory, they come up with a point. So very impressive start for your mob, Terry.
It is, and he's a replay, and that was Alex Zarunas. That great pass from Alex. And also Vanuatu, their first ever international was against Greece in 2012. That was the first time they played rugby league. We went over there to Vanuatu. It was a great atmosphere there. We probably had about 4,500 people hanging off the trees. I've never experienced anything like that. It was fantastic, and they really welcomed us at Vanuatu, and they're doing great things over there with their domestic season, and also now playing international rugby league.
And just on that note, if you want to catch up on any international rugby league, read about it, where do they go, Terry?
Well, it's Rugby League Review. We'll have every single game, the regional games, disability, everything, every single game in detail in our next issue. So make sure you grab that. It's all news agents, or just go online at www.rugbyleaguereview.com.
Excellent, Terry. Thanks for joining us, mate. We'll let you get back to your managing duties, and maybe you can pop in after half time and have a chat to us again.
Yeah, nice to join you, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you.
Great. Thanks very much, Terry. Terry Libropoulos from the Greek Rugby League and also Rugby League Review. Doing a great job for Emerging Nations Rugby League, and joining me now in the commentary is Lee Addison, the Polish coach. He's been so kind to donate his time after a big win against the Japanese Samurais.
How are you?
Very well, Lee.
You had a long day?
It's been another big, long day, but I can't complain. You.
This is the best commentary box in the world.
It's sensational, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we nearly had an injury in the previous game. but I'm here. I might have a concussion test a little bit later on, but we'll soldier on through.
I'll get one of my trainers, Troy, to come out and look at you. He'll diagnose you within minutes. Thank you.
So we've got a spill ball here. Oh, solid hit. Zampatides just lined up the young fella there from Vanuatu, the 5'8" Mara.
I'm expecting a really tight game with these today, actually. We've had a good look at them on video, and we think it might be quite a tight one.
Vanuatu an opportunity here to hit right back. There's Mara with it. So I just step back up on the chair so I can get a good view here. Tenga's at dummy half, we'll wait for it. Here's Oscar, the big front rower.
Very strong in the middle, aren't they, Vanuatu? Some good size all across the field, actually, but in the middle in particular, they seem to get a good roll on.
The referee's just called time off there. Not sure what the referee's rule there. We've got a player down there.
Player down in the middle of the field on the 40-metre line.
So back on the 40-metre line, as they've got an injured Greek player. If you're just waking up in Europe, we're at the Ponds ground here in Kellyville. There's a late venue change with all the rain we've had in Sydney. And we're here, so we have a bit of an obstructed view with a few umbrellas around and things like that, but I guess comes with Emerging Nations Rugby League is emerging coverage, you could say. So I can't quite see who the player is down there on his back. Bit of concern. But Lee, while we've got this stoppage in play, another impressive performance by the Polish today against Japan.
It wasn't bad. We made quite a few changes because I've got a 23-man squad, so you'll have noticed a few players rested from the team that we played on Thursday. I'll be honest with you, at half-time, I'm surprised you didn't hear my team talk. I gave them the rounds of the kitchen. I just felt that we had, in the pre-tournament test against Hungary last Friday and the game on Thursday, I thought we did some things excellently, some simple things, and I thought we went away from that in the first 20 minutes. It was a very scrappy game, and I kept sending messages out with my blue shirt trainer Shane Harris, and they weren't very pleasant. I couldn't forget that when I went in the sheds at half time, mate. It's just not what we've built with Poland so far. We've had a very selfless preparation where everyone's putting in for each other. I just felt we played some selfish football in the first 20 minutes, and it looked really disjointed. So I didn't listen to the scoreboard. I didn't take notice of the scoreboard. I put that out of my head when I spoken to the players, and hopefully you noticed in the second half our defence had a lot more intent and the line speed was good, and they responded really well. So I'm very proud of them, but yeah, I think our standards need to be better if we want to progress in the tournament.
Okay, we've got two questions here for you. How did you get involved with the Polish Rugby League? How long have you been involved as a coach?
Exactly 2 months. I had a look at the date today. It's all happened really quickly, so long story short, it's something like my third attempt at coaching Poland over the last decade, because it's literally been started from the ground up. The Polish Rugby League exiles in Australia have been going for a couple of years, and apparently there was going to be an Emerging Nations World Cup 2 years ago, and I met with the guy who we call the Vice President, Shane Young, 2 years ago, and I got offered the job then, and then the tournament didn't happen, so I just put that on the back burner, and then sort of 2.5-3 months ago an advert came out, and Luke Schramer of Schramer Rugby League Recruitment sent an email out saying that an Emerging Nations World Cup team was looking for a coach. I sent him a text, and lo and behold, it was Poland. I said, well, tell Shane Young I'm still keen, and there was an application process, and apparently there were 30 from around the world who had a crack at the job, and some very good applicants, and it got whittled down to 8, and then I got the job, and it was a real good feeling. I've been given a lot of coaching jobs in the past, but because my granddad was Polish, getting this job was a completely different emotion.
Well, that was going to be the second question. It doesn't sound like a Polish accent, more of a Northern England accent.
No, that's right. And but my father's original surname is Adasco. His dad was called Stanislav Adasco, and actually changed his name to Stanley Addison when my old man was about 11. just to improve his job prospects of getting higher-ended jobs, and it worked a treat. So I was born Lee Addison, and I was born in Salford, and there's nothing sounding Polish about me, and neither is there anything Australian sounding, despite the fact I've lived here for 12 years. So I didn't come for this weather, though, I've got to be honest. I didn't see this on the brochure. It hasn't stopped raining, has it, mate?
No, it hasn't stopped raining pretty much since the Polish-Japan game. We were lucky with the first couple of games. But
what do you think of the surface, the new surface?
I had a little walk on the field there, and it was quite spongy. I was quite surprised. When I saw it, I immediately think of a hockey field, how hard they are for the surface for the ball to roll over. It was quite interesting, the little rubber fibres.
Yeah.
And
as luck would have it, I've experienced these fields because when I was with the USA Tomahawks in 2013, we were based at Widnes. And their field is exactly the same as this, or very similar, artificial. And it was great for training because, guess what, during that tournament it rained constantly as well. But nobody was shocked because we were in England. And we didn't have our training interrupted.
So we do have a break here at the moment, and it looks like teams they're separating here. I think they're just going to go through a bit of a warm-up here, as we do have an injured player.
Might be an ambulance job, this.
Yeah, they've got the blanket there on him, so not a good way to end day 3. We're only minutes old into this first half, so when we find out some information, we'll certainly give it to you.
Your coverage is getting rave reviews from everybody I know. It's been fantastic. I just hope that we can get the message out to as many people as possible. It's great viewing and good commentary and good variety in the commentary, and there's people in Poland watching this, and I know for a fact there's people in Salford watching this where I'm from, so no, it's good. This will be frustrating for the players. They've probably spent a good hour or two getting ready for this game, both mentally and physically, and then now they've got to go through this.
Yeah, I was watching them warming up, both teams at either end. I thought probably no worse conditions to warm up in, and they've only just got started. Ball buggers getting cold, but
one of the easy motivational things for my team was that a lot of them were getting their first game in the tournament today, so there was no shortage of motivation. I think actually early in the game we were probably a little bit too motivated and pushing some passes, and I'd be interested to see what you think about some of the forward passes that were given. They look quite flat to me.
Well, we're pretty much at ground level here, and there's poles in the way, so we couldn't really see a lot. But
when you say poles in the way, do you mean Polish people or beings?
Pardon the pun, yeah. I think overall, the referee's performance has been pretty good. I know you can't comment on that, but
no, I've been quite happy. One thing I've noticed across both games that we've played has been the consistency. I think that's all we ever asked for from officials, and I've got to be honest, I'm really enjoying it just being one referee and a couple of touch judges, which it's if they get it wrong, and we just move on, and that's fine. And as long as they're consistent and fair, and I can't gripe about any of that.
So still on the Polish team, it must be hard to get all the players together. There's a few up from my neck of the woods, up Newcastle. Ethan Niscott playing for Maitland, Alex Kowalski.
Yep.
With Greta Brankston. How do those players get involved? Is it you send a message out there, or they put their hand up first?
Well, as luck would have it, about 3 weeks before I got the Poland job, I started a new website called rugbyleaguecoach.com.au, and basically what I'm trying to do with that website is coach people virtually. So it's like a Netflix for rugby league, where players can log in if they subscribe, and basically everything I do as a coach and other coaches we put on there. There's strength and conditioning, there's skills, there's team stuff, there's weight training, there's fitness training, there's psychological stuff, there's diet stuff, nutrition, etc, etc, etc. And as luck would have it, I'd just started that website. So what I did as part of the Polish preparation was I set up a Poland RL page where the players could get their own login. So I spoke with the president, Alex, and the vice president, Shane, very early on, and said, I'm not going to get the guys together 10, 11, 12 times and just do training session after training session after training session. What I'll do is meet them early, introduce myself to them, and then sent them away with a program for a month, so that they came with an element of conditioning and an element of knowledge about the skills that I required them to have. And then we just met twice in New South Wales. I did satellite sessions in Queensland, in Beenleigh, with 5 players. I got players from my school, Maple Park State High School, and my old school, Ipswich State High School, to join us to beef the training numbers up there. And then last weekend we went for a camp in Coleroy, and all my players met each other in the changing rooms an hour before we played Hungary. So, but what I'd also done on that website is put the game plan stuff, and so they all had an idea of what was needed. So the reality is that when I was involved with the Tomahawks in 2013, I met Terry Mattison, who was the head coach at Sydney Airport, on the way, and we met half the squad at Heathrow Airport. So, you know, the USA Tomahawks did real good things during that tournament as well. And what you've just got to do is keep it as simple as possible, and just have a few principles that you hang your hat on, and away you go. And I try and make sure there's no confusion in my dressing room, and we all try and work on the same page. And that's why I suppose I was so angry at half time that the players just seemed to go away from that a little bit, and they didn't do it on purpose. It's just part of the learning process, and they know I love them. So yeah, so that's how I did it, and did most of it online, to be honest. So
that's amazing, and I'm guessing a lot of these other nations have a similar story of how they all started. We heard Terry Libropoulos from Greece say a moment ago how Greece Rugby League started, and it's just amazing how you guys, and I'm sure majority of you are all volunteer too, that
absolutely,
pull these nations together. It's just an amazing effort.
I think the other thing too is that there's a massive emotional attachment for every single player who's got a jersey on in this tournament, and that drives them to bigger, better things, and it gives players in some of the lower grades the chance to play. We played. We've got a 17-year-old in the squad. I don't think he's ever made a rep squad in his short career, and we had another one played, Lachlan Shrama, last week in the test, and he's not made a rep squad for a while. So it just gave perfect opportunities. Then we've got other players that haven't played football for 4, 5 and 6 years, so and they're playing out the skins for us.
Well, the players are just coming off the field. As I say, we've got an injury out there at the moment. We still can't tell you who the player is injured. All we can say is it's a Greek player, but both teams are coming off the field. It's probably the worst period of the day we've had. The rain's pretty heavy, so we might take a quick break, Lee.
Yeah, okay.
And we'll come back when we've got some information of what's happening out there with the injured player. Hello and welcome back here to Kellyville, the Ponds, here in northwest Sydney. We just had an unfortunate delay, just holding up play, an injury to Tyrone Tuakomo, the Greece winger. Just fell awkwardly in attempting a tackle, and he's in good hands now as the ambulance is just leaving the field. So hopefully he's cleared and has a full bill of health, but unfortunate delay. It's been such a great day, and Vanuatu about to get us back underway. 7 minutes gone in this match. Here we go now with Henderson. Welcome back, Ian Addison, as well.
Yeah, Vanuatu have got really interesting shape here in attack. It's like a reverse V. But if they don't hold the ball, it's obviously not going to be worth much job. But I was really interested how they look then. Flat attack has almost been in vogue for the last couple of decades, but South Sydney this year showed that if you can drop your attack back quite deep, it can pay dividends. And Vanuatu were really deep then. I'm just a bit sad they didn't hold the ball for the set to see how it panned out. Well, did you call me Ian Addison then?
I think I did, Lee. Sorry.
If you call me that again, I'm going to tell everyone you got a Charlton Athletic top on.
Well, I'm just glad I didn't wear the other jacket I've left in the car, because you really would have given me a ribbon.
Yeah, West Ham fan.
No, it's blue and gold, and they I think they just finished behind Salford in the Super 8s.
Oh, okay. Salford had a good end to the year with not Josh Drinkwater, Hastings. Yeah, Jackson Hastings.
So Greece bringing this ball out of their own territory.
Working the left side here quite well. Vanuatu jumping out the line and putting good pressure on. They'll be a bit fresh for the next 10 minutes, I think, but it'll be interesting to see if that break has any impact. And
I haven't gone through the team listings yet. There's a shocker of a bounce there. Still play on here on the young winger here. Elixon stepping back inside. That was Tenga. Now we've got a knock on against Greece, so Vanuatu will get another 6 here.
Just got the feeling Greece running a little bit of momentum before that break, and this could have disrupted it a little bit. So, but Vanuatu didn't capitalise on that last set. Let's see what they do here.
I'll quickly go through the Vanuatu team. At fullback is Stephen Tenga. On the wings we've got Elixon Napa Karana and Patrick Jack. In the centres we've got Patefa Nishishina and Rob Franklin as plays back underway. Here's Big Ben Louis in number 4. He was named on our bench, but I'll just go through keep going through this team list. We've got Elena Mara, Andrew Kaltonga. Here's Henderson with another hit up, getting up to the 30. Salatasi Lola, Stanley Joseph, Kalsama Oscar, James Woods the captain, Aviva Allen, Ben Henderson, Ben Luai, Daniel Kaltapanga, and Dominique Sablin and Max Tellier. That's the Vanuatu team, and we'll get to the Greece team shortly.
Been quite direct here in this set. They went to the left scrum line and then back to the middle. I thought they were going to shift there. Let's see if they launch something from the centre of the field now.
They come to the left-hand side with Mara, inside pass to Wood. Wood breaks through the first line. He's brought down. 4 out from the line, last tackle. Numbers both sides. They come to the short side, the left. Mara's with it. Mara's dancing around. He could get there. No, he's held up. A very good tackle. Brought down, I think that's Manzola, the dummy half. It's actually Korkitas, the veteran. Michael Korkitas there. Great tackle.
He's an old Salford player.
He's been around, well, I won't say 100 years, but he's certainly been around a long time.
At least 80 of those years. Vanuatu have started this second game quite well. Look at this line speed now, and as soon as they move the ball a little bit away from the play the ball in that last set, they put a good dent in the Greece line. So Greece, having lost their teammate, a little bit rattled, I think. So it's going to take them a few minutes to get their mojo back.
So I'll bring this out. Some heavy contact there, and it's a lost ball.
There you go.
Some more pressure coming up for Greece.
Great chance for Vanuatu to add points.
I'll quickly go through the Greece squad now. And number 2, we've got Nick Margios. 4 is Sam Stratus. 6 is Alex Arunas. 7, Tremaine Trezis. 8, Michael Koukidis. 9, Peter Mamzolis. 13 is Terry Constantine. 11, Adam Vranos. 10 is George Sikarikis. 21 is Jake Vranos. 16, Billy Sikarikis. 1, Lawrence Vranos. 3, Mitchell Sampatidis. 14, Clinton Hughes. 20, Nathan Hughes. 22, Robert Tuli Atu. And Tyrone Tukaamo was in jersey 5. He is injured and is not out there anymore, on his way to hospital. So we hope that Tyrone's well. We'll try and find out at half-time if we can give you an update. So Henderson's wrapped up just short of the 20.
Quite direct again, Vanuatu. Not being too enterprising with the ball as yet.
So they go out to the right-hand side. Cal Tonga, the halfback, running around, trying to get on the outside of the defence, but Greece defence has been pretty good. They won't have any of that. They've gone backwards on that play, Vanuatu.
I think if Vanuatu don't score in the next few sets after the pressure they've had, then that's going to be some gremlins in their heads, and Greece will get some joy from that. Greece just need to get the ball down the opposite end of the field, because it's just been in front of us, this play, hasn't it, for the last 10 minutes?
Certainly has. Right in front of this big pole that's holding up the roof. So back underway. They go out to the left-hand side, and it's been spilled out there.
Exactly what Greece didn't need, and I just think they're a little bit rattled. I think the breaking players rattled them, and obviously they're worried about their mate too. And sometimes these things just get in your head a little bit. Also, it depends how they both dealt with the break. I saw both teams warming up, but some of them may have rushed the warm up or finished it too early or something like that. So
you've got a fan, I see.
Rob Najecki all the way from New York. Parents Polish, but actually met each other in America.
There's some great stories to come out of the emerging nations, these players have.
Unbelievable. Vanuatu heading down the left scrum line now, and I think if I'm Vanuatu, I'd shift the ball now to that far edge, but they know they take it back into the middle, and very direct Vanuatu.
Joseph,
very physical.
Joseph, dummy half. He's Wood. James Wood. A lot of experience in the Q Cup. So as that pole is creating havoc for myself here, as this is that Luai out there on the far side. The ball's come loose again, so both teams having problems with the peel.
It's very wet, and talking to the players in our shed after the game, when you drop to the ground with the ball, it's just different. It's different to landing in mud. It's different to landing in hard ground. So obviously it's a little bit slippier, and players are saying they were slipping as well. So don't be surprised to see more drop ball. Could be a knock-on-a-thon.
I saw a couple of your players. I think it was Liam Saker. He did a big slide on the knees there.
Yeah.
I was interested to see if there was any skin left.
I've not coached him that, to be honest. But I've been claiming every kick that Harry did today in open play, because I thought his kicking game was excellent. I kept telling everyone that listened that I coached him. I taught him how to do that. Greece coming down the middle. If Greece hold the ball for a set of 6, I think they're going to do some real damage.
We've got another injured player down for Vanuatu. He's not well at all.
This Greek hooker is very dangerous. I watched him play at Windsor last week, and he was lightning out of dummy half. Yeah, they've called the trainer. I think this is the Bermuda Triangle, mate. They're not coming past this 40-metre line.
Yeah, this is not good at all.
I wonder about the health of these players, these extra stoppages. They probably need to look at whether this game continues. I don't know. It's so many stoppages aren't good for players' health, the hamstrings and the muscles.
Yes, unbelievable. We've already had a stoppage with one injury from Greece, and now we've got another one here for Vanuatu. It's been such a good day here at the Ponds at Kellyville. St Pat's Juniors Rugby League, home ground for next year, and such a good day, and it's been such a good tournament too. It all kicked off in Windsor last week. On the Monday, the public holiday. familiar face just wanders past there.
Yeah, he was a good coach, and Chris Anderson, and won the Storm's inaugural premiership in '99, I remember, and then he was the Kangaroo coach. He was a massive, talking about flat attack earlier, he was a massive proponent of that, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And then he did the one marker system when he was at Roosters, and Brad Fittler ended up coaching the rest of that year. But Chris Anderson was one of the early influences on my coaching, actually, just watching him from afar when I lived in England and wanted to coach. And I used to read as much as I could that came out of his mouth, or listen to as many interviews, or watch as many interviews as possible, and study his teams. And I bet he's watching Greece. He might think he's watching his old team Halifax in England. Same jerseys.
Was he captain coach when they won the Challenge Cup?
I think he was in the mid-'80s.
Showing my age there. Young kid get up at midnight and watch the Challenge Cup final. So unfortunately another break in play. Vanuatu player down this time, and
I hope it's not another big one, mate. If it is, I think they really need to look at rescheduling this game, because the players can't. Oh, the silver foil's coming on again.
Yeah, it's amazing. I can see there is an ambulance at the end of the street down there, so hopefully he doesn't have to go too far.
I mean, it's 8 o'clock local time. 8 o'clock local time already. If we're not careful, this game will end sort of 9:30ish, and everyone's had a long day. It might.
Yeah, certainly. A couple of us, we've got to head back up the M1. But that's not really a concern at this stage. You're just concerned with the player out there on the field. So can't get a number of this player that's down, but it's the second major stoppage, and as Lee said, this break, it's not going to do the players any good. And I think a lot of these players too, they've finished playing rugby league over a month ago, and they've only just got back into some light training, and they're playing, and hopefully can't see any officials out here making a call at this stage as if this game will continue. It's very unfortunate. So we might have to take another break here, and when we find out if this game will continue or what's going on. As I said, another break. This is the second stoppage, and we're less than 15 minutes into this contest. So we'll take another break here on Bar TV Sports. Unfortunately, we've had a second injury here that's delayed play, and
they need to call this game off. They honestly do. This isn't good for the players at all.
Absolutely. As I said, luckily the there's another ambulance arrived, so I'll get to him swiftly. But yeah, anyway, we'll take a quick break, and we'll come back with some news. And you're right, Lee, I think this game, it might be done and dusted, but we will not know for sure in a couple of minutes' time. But we'll keep you posted. Thanks for tuning in. We'll keep you posted with an update very shortly. So, welcome back to Kellyville, the Ponds. Another unfortunate delay with a Vanuatu player being rushed to hospital. We've had 2 here in the space of 7 minutes, but play's back underway. Rain's still coming down. And let's see how the players go. They didn't have much time to warm up. The kick goes through. Tenga's back there to field it. Lee, have you ever seen anything like this before in your life?
Maybe only in junior rugby league, where games have been called early because of injuries or a second injury. I can't remember anything resembling an international or an NRL or Super League game where there's been 2 ambulances on the field. I suppose in that sense we're thankful that it's an all-weather field, so the ambulance could get on easily in this weather. It's very, very unique. And as I said on air earlier, I'm not so sure these boys should be playing right now. I just think we're increasing the chance of further injury, really, and they've not spent that much time re-warming up.
No.
I can see.
Well, we had the Grease boys in. It's not really a shed behind us. It's a sort of open, I don't know what you call it, but a sort of area, and a few of the players got rub downs, but now they're back out there. And anyway, back out there now. That's Lawrence Zorunas.
I think, there's so many things that Tasbateri and the organisational committee have got to think about as well. They've got to consider the integrity of the competition, the integrity of the test match. And as we were having discussions then behind the scenes during the break, there was all sorts. They were talking about calling the game early and the result standing, or if there's another injury, the result stands.
There's Zorunas, Lawrence Zorunas, with the number 1 jersey on, come off the bench in their first game against Hungary. A few changes. Here's Alex Zorunas, the 5'8", puts this high. It's a tester for Tenga. Coming off the wing is Napa Karuna, Alexan Napa Karuna.
Be interested to see who this second break benefits. Vanuatu look like the heavier side to me, so maybe those couple of breathers have done them the world of good. But that said, they've both lost a player each too, so that's going to have a mental impact too.
It's a good dart here from dummy half. The rain is still coming down. It really hasn't stopped since the second half of the Polish-Japan game.
Don't I know about that?
Henderson. As Korkitis has come into the sideline now, so the veteran front rowers, he's walking off now, which is good.
He's limping.
Yeah, he was limping there a moment ago. As Nathan Hughes has come on as a replacement. So a bobble there in the play of the ball. Woods, pressure with a kick, he gets it through. Zorunas will bring this out, gets over the 10, trying to get to that 20.
Great line speed there, great kick chase from Vanuatu. Pre-break, Greece were really under the pump, and I think, if anything, they've probably just started this third incarnation of the game a little bit better than Vanuatu, but Vanuatu are trading punches. That was a good carry, I can't see the number.
It's very hard to pick up the Greek numbers. Black numbers or blue numbers on a blue background makes it very hard. A good run from dummy half. Here's Nick Margius. Number 12 in it goes at dummy half. They've had a few changes here, the Greek side too. I've got numbers and everything all over the place as Zorunas drops that one.
I thought Greece looked really dangerous in the game against Hungary on Monday, but they had a massive case of the dropsies, and there was a chance just there on that left edge, and once again drop ball. You can't blame the players today because of the conditions. I know my team had a case of the dropsies too, so I've got to be careful, being critical, but Greece were really good the other day. I thought their shape was good, their line speed was good and everything else, but they just kept dropping the ball, and I'm sure Steve Georgalis, the coach, will have addressed that.
So Vanuatu still inside their halfway, short pass. Defence is equal to the task, still going, eventually on halfway. I thought the referee was indicating a penalty there, but he's just telling the player to go back. So Wood again. It's a wobbly old kick. This could go at the full. It does. Right in front of us here. So the pressure's back on Vanuatu. Not a good set there.
Greece have certainly started this third version of the game better. If Vanuatu get 2 tries behind, I've got a feeling that the Greek defence will hold them out quite well.
So Menzolis at dummy half. Goes for a bit of a run. He's dangerous.
He's excellent, that hooker. He had a great game Monday and he's looking good again today.
Possibly scored the try of the tournament, or one of the tries of the tournament in that game against Hungary.
Is that the one that went through about 20 pairs of hands?
Yeah. Might have been offside, but...
I think even referees are human. Sometimes they don't know, I'll give that try.
This is Hughes, Nathan Hughes, just come onto the field for Korkitas.
I don't know if your viewers can see this, but Steve Georgialis has coached this team really well. They've got great shape on both sides of the ball. You'd be forgiven for thinking this was his Canterbury Bulldogs reserve grade side with the kit they've got on. And obviously Georgie just coached them to a comp win too, so that will give the players confidence. They've got great shape on the left side here.
There's a chance here. Numbers in the inside has been put down. Billy Sarekis, I think at the try line wide open. Just couldn't hang on to that one. As you said, he could be forgiven in these wet conditions.
Everything about the mental rhythm of Greece and Vanuatu will be tested after these 2 long breaks. So a football will spend sometimes 48 hours mentally preparing for a game, and then you prepare for a certain kickoff time, and then to have 2 long breaks like that is going to affect everything you do.
So Vanuatu bringing this out of their own territory. Ben Lua. In fact, it's jersey 12. It's Daniel Kaltapang. Here's Henderson.
Which player got injured from Vanuatu?
Still unsure. There's a lot of confusion and people going everywhere. Really busy, so I couldn't quite get a straight answer from anybody, but hopefully...
Korkitas is warming up again, but he is struggling a little bit, looks a little ginger.
Well, this will help Vanuatu. He's holding down. See there in the background there in the yellow shirt, Reece Wesser, former Penrith NRL player, had a year or 2 with Souths, running the water for Vanuatu.
Heard a rumour he nearly ended up in the Gold Coast competition as well this year.
Yeah.
He could still do some damage.
He certainly could. Well, they'd penciled Kenny Nagus down too as a trainer, but he couldn't make it. I know he had a run in the Auckland Knights a few years ago. He's some good defence.
Well, the luminary trainers I've got haven't got quite the same famous names. Shane Harris, Troy Lowry and Josh Day, but they're doing awesome jobs.
Well, that's all you need.
Reece is the next Alfie Langer. He's coaching them from the back.
Wood, inside pass to Henderson. It's wrapped up there by Adam Vranos. Got tape around the head there. Also helping out was Clinton Hughes. Here's Wood again. It's a lovely cut-out pass. And Apokarana has just gone straight through the mitts into touch.
Both these teams are deserving of being in a World semi-final on Wednesday. They're both very well coached and got talent galore in both sets of jerseys, and it'll be a shame to see one of these not in the mix in the semis and the finals.
So the scramble pack just short of the 40.
Please, no more injuries, please.
Yeah.
But what a lot of people won't understand who are watching this too is a lot of these boys might have to go to work tomorrow, particularly if they're Australia based. So
it's Constantine. Yeah, that's the amazing thing. A lot of these guys, they work during the week, especially the Vanuatu guys. They've come over here.
Great line. I was very impressed with the Greek back rowers that I saw on Monday too. If it's the same two, the number 11 and the number 12. I don't know if they're the same that played on...
James Wood for Vanuatu.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, for Greece, sorry. 11 and 12.
Vranos have had a few changes, a good break up at the middle there. I said all these number changes, it's made it a bit confusing, but we'll do the best we can.
I think another thing that will impact on this game, Vanuatu actually played on Thursday, whereas Greece have had 6 days off.
There's a chance in the corner. We could have a try. No, he's just been pulled up short. That's Terry Constantine out there. So we go through the hands again. It's a little kick in goal. It's been well fielded, probably by the biggest man out there on the field, Kalsuma Oscar.
this is shaping up as a great game. Greece are throwing all sorts at Vanuatu. Vanuatu are defending quite well too and very energetic, and it's just going to come down to an error or a slip or something like that. Great collision.
Tanga driven back there in the tackle. Went for a run at dummy half. He probably won't do that for a while.
All the Vanuatuans are all looking for the ball too. They're sort of pushing each other out of the way to try and carry the ball. They're going to take this fight to Greece, even though I feel they've been under the pump a little bit. They're not backing down.
Here's Joseph, Stanley Joseph from dummy half. He had a good game the other day. So they go down the short side. Wood has swapped over that short side. He looks like he might be playing a bit of 5'8" there. As Lawrence Arunas gets around one, almost gets around the second attempt to tackle, but it's well done there by Patrick Jack on that far side.
Greece are just slightly winning the field position back and forth now. So
another very good run here.
The Greek set ended right on the try line of Vanuatu. That set ended on the 20 for Vanuatu. So if Greece just hold the ball, then points could come their way quite soon.
So numbers both sides. Hughes, Zaranos did well to pick that up. Alex Zaranos.
Props around the world are so thankful that Des Hasler coached the Bulldogs with James Graham in a couple of years ago. They're now allowed to pass the ball.
Here's Billy Sarikis. Last tackle now for Greece. Go to the left-hand side. It was a charge down. I think it might have hit Kaltonga in the head.
He's given 6
again. 6 to go. Here's Benzolas, very dangerous.
There's another man down near the 40-metre line too. He's moving though, so hopefully it's nothing too serious.
So they go into centre field. That ball's gone backwards towards where the injured player is. Hughes has picked it up. So centre field, 20 out from the line. They go to the left-hand side again, inside pass. Here's a very hard run
good
here.
Line,
it's a very good run. Pops the pass out. There's a pole on the way here, but it looks like it's Billy Sarikis trying to make up for a...
He got so close over the line, I think.
The referee's given the penalty for just that.
No, just short of the line by the look of it. Because the angle's so flat of the camera and the ground, it's hard to tell, isn't it?
It certainly is. These chairs, these milk crates are certainly getting a good workout today.
They're the best milk crates I've ever stood on, though, to be fair. Taking the 2, good idea. Good idea.
One of the weirdest things I've ever had to go to Coles for and ask at the counter. Can I get 4 milk crates, please? Empty milk crates.
I didn't even know milk crates still existed, actually. Who's the best team you've seen in the tournament so far?
Not sure if you'd say the best, but certainly surprised was Hungary, their effort against Greece in that the opening night. I thought they were really, really good.
I think Hungary are like a dog that won't let go of your ankles kind of thing. You've not beaten them until the final hooter goes, and they're just tenacious and scrap for their lives from minute 1 to minute 80.
Defeated both these teams, and at Vanuatu they gave them a fright.
Yeah. Malta looked good in game 1, but then we're a bit off the pace game 2.
Oh, it's hit the post, but it's been deflected. Oh, it's been spilt. Well,
I think we're going to get everything in a game of rugby league tonight.
I think so. So Vanuatu dragging this out of their own territory.
Maybe except a streaker, because it'd be too cold for them.
We are in northwest Sydney. Anything's possible.
I think whatever I said about Greece earlier, getting some joy from Vanuatu not scoring with all the pressure, I think Vanuatu are going to have the same feeling now. They've been energised from that break from the kick that hit the post.
So Wood again, he's playing that 5-8 roll. It's a good kick. Zampalides has got a bit of pressure. So is Zaranos. Zaranos got away from one, but good tackle there. Napa Karana, jersey 21, helped out by Nishini. Greece get a penalty.
If everyone in Sydney and surrounding areas have stayed awake. This is a great game.
Yeah.
It's a really good game and a great advert for the tournament. And you wouldn't be mistaken if you thought this was two sort of Ron Massey sides or New South Wales Cup sides. They're going really well, and it's really tenacious and out there in the middle.
Well, it's the early hours of the morning. Oh, massive hit. Massive hit there from Stanley Joseph on the number 11, Adam Vranos. He gets up though.
He's tough as teak, the number 11.
So it'll be early hours of the morning in Greece, so a few supporters will be tuning in. This is Margios down the silo. Margios has been strong. He's going to score here. Throws it back inside. And Greece get their second try of the night. Well done to the Greek side.
They've threatened that for a while, and they've just managed to hold the pill on that occasion. And I've got an awful feeling that one more try or two more tries for Greece, and that could be game, because Vanuatu did play on Thursday, and with these two long breaks, it'll just have an impact, I feel.
Yeah, well, we thought that a few of the boys in commentary there on Thursday that the short turnaround was trying. Here it is again on the replay, backing up well, scoring the try.
Well, we played Hungary in a pre-tournament warm-up on Friday, and then played game one of our tournament on Thursday, so we had a 6-day turnaround, and we had no niggles to deal with. Well, after tonight we've got a couple of niggles, so we're sending Mikey Bryan for an x-ray on his ankle. I think that's more precautionary than anything else. Couple of my forwards are just carrying niggles as well, because obviously despite the scoreline, they're still doing the tough yards, they're still carrying the ball into the line. And I took a few players off for precautionary reasons. Rob McKighton, for example, was limping on the sideline, and my trainer gave the diagnosis, and I don't think there was a body part that was working.
Interesting. I'm just checking the team list. We don't have a number 12 on the team list. I took a photo 10 minutes before kickoff.
Okay.
George Sikarikis was the try scorer. There you go.
On Monday,
12.
on Monday, Greece had an excellent back row, and I think they're both in there today.
So 12-0, Greece in front of Vanuatu. George Sikarikis, the last try scorer, converted by Sam Stratus.
Vanuatu are going to be the next to score.
Kaltonga gets us underway. It's a deep kick. This could go out the full. It's well taken. Zampatidis takes it forward. The dreadlocks.
Greece will be energised by the support they've got as well. I think they seem to have the majority of the crowd that's left at this stadium.
So Clinton Hughes is on the field in jersey 14 for Greece. That's the 16, Billy Sirikis. They go that left-hand side again. Looking dangerous out that side. The ball's come loose. Vanuatu will pick it up. There'll be another scrum, but they've looked dangerous on that left edge.
Tails are up. Tails are up for Greece, and big test for Vanuatu now. I haven't got a clue how long's left in the half.
I was just about to check on the phone. We're not privy to the clock that the viewers can see at home. As I've mentioned previously in the broadcast, we're sitting on chairs and milk crates away from the production team. And the scrum packs near halfway. We could have a win against the feed here. The referee will ask for it to be packed again. So we're back underway. So heading towards the final 5 minutes of this first half, as Rob Franklin goes for a run from dummy half.
12-0 at half-time might not be too bad for Vanuatu. Anything more, they're in a bit of trouble, I think.
So they come this short side. Lola, big front rower. Good charge run and tackled well down low. Wood again, shaping, does a dummy. He'll just take the tackle, wrapped up by Branos. Over the top was Sikarikis. So who's, the big front row, Oscar putting it on the toe. She's going to beat everybody in the dead ball line.
It does run on here at this stadium, the ball, and I thought Harry Saker kicked the ball excellently on this turf. He put some backspin on one kick, and we thought it was dead for all money, and it just held up. And I don't think that prop's done many kicks on an artificial field before.
Zampatidis. What goes through the coach's head when you see something like that in the front row? I just
one of my little quirks as a coach, I go say something like that, what the, and then at the end of the sentence I go, great kick, because invariably they come off. Greece have just pounded down the middle here, and they've made fantastic meters.
So Alex Arunas running to the line, cut out pass. It's a beautiful pass to Constantine. He's thrown it straight in the hands of James Wood. He must have called that.
Is James Wood from the Gold Coast area? Is that where I've seen him before?
He plays a lot of Q Cup over 200 games.
Tweed.
So there's danger there for Vanuatu, but luckily they got out of jail there. They'll bring this out of their own territory again. A lot of the plays being played down this area.
Greece are going really well in some of the fundamentals of ruck control and line speed and defensive split, and I think it's telling now whatever Georgie said to him in that second break, seems to be working, because they've really got the game together now. And I stand by what I said earlier, if Greece hold the ball, I think they're going to be a real threat to the whole tournament.
Well, that's it. It's a second chance this game, really, for the victor of this game. They'll go into the semi-finals. Here's Arunas, Lawrence Arunas. We've got a Shepherd. So,
be interesting to know how much of a break we get for half time, because we've had 2 20-minute breaks already. So.
Well, I have been lucky enough to be at the longest game of rugby league in history. That was the Group 21 grand final a few years ago up at Scone.
Yep.
We're between Scone Thoroughbreds and Denman. That went into an extra 45 minutes of extra time.
I think I was at the shortest one ever at Bradford, when you could only see about as far as the 10-metre line from the end because of all the fog. The game was cancelled after about 7 minutes. I think Salford was still behind on the score. Vanuatu looked rattled to me, and I think if Greece get another one before half time, then they could have booked themselves a semi-final berth that early. I'm sure Vanuatu will have something to say about that, but they just look like they just had too much pressure.
There's another very good run there from George Sirekis. Sirekis brothers, Billy and George. They go to that left-hand side again. There's another good run here, bumping off tackles.
They put some numbers in the tackle, Vanuatu. They're so committed and energetic.
Here's Alex Arunas through the hands, finds a charging number 11, Adam Branos. Quick play the ball too, and keeping it alive. Lovely cut-out pass. Zampatidis in the corner. Mitch Zampatidis, an inclusion missed out in the game against Hungary. He scores a try on the corner, and that's now 16-0, the kick to come, basically on the stroke of half-time.
Greece have really dominated this game since that second break, and they've won the field petition battle and the arm wrestle, and that's ultimately led to 2 tries in reasonably quick time, and I just fear that could be a little bit too much for Vanuatu, because the Greece defence is really, really strong, and even in their defeat to Hungary the other day they didn't concede too many. So if Greece just come out in the second half, I know it sounds boring, but complete sets and kick downfield and chase well, then I think they've got a semi-final berth.
Yeah, so this kick right on the sideline. Trainer in the perfect spot there. It's just seemed to run with the theme of the day. Umbrellas.
I thought it was Petro Civoniceva when I took the first look.
Sam Stratus. Difficult kick, but one thing's on his side, that rain has stopped and the wind's died down at the moment. It's not a bad strike. It's looking good. Oh, must have just fallen short. It has. So that'll be half time. Greece leading Vanuatu 16 points to 0. We'll take a quick break and be back with the second half. So welcome back here to the Ponds at Kellyville here in Sydney. Short half time after a couple of unfortunate injuries in the first half. First one to Tyrone Takomo of Greece, and then 7 minutes later we had an injury to the Vanuatu 5-out Alhana Mara. We don't have any updates of how the two players are at this stage, but if we find out anything, we'll be sure to let you know, because there'll be plenty of relatives and friends out there want to know that hopefully that the players are both in good health. But both teams are back out onto the field for the second half.
It was a short half-time, Paul, but I still got a chance to steal your iPhone charger for 40 minutes.
It's okay. We'll send you the bill. That wind's picked up now.
Yeah, will the viewers be picking that up on the microphone? Or?
They'll pick up a little bit, and it's just the beauty of the setup of the ground. Oh, this is going to be, well, he's hiding behind that pole there. I couldn't see Ben away.
Good collision, good first collision.
In fact, that was Patrick Jack.
Back rowers,
this is Ben Luai.
Back rowers for Greece are excellent.
Certainly picked that up through the effects mic, the Greek supporters.
I think that'll matter to the players too. It's getting cold, it's been a longish day, and a couple of breaks, and that'll just lift Greece even more.
So Wood again, playing that 5-8 role.
He's not been bad though, has he? His kicking game's been okay,
yeah,
and he's spreading the ball well, and got a lot of experience behind him.
Zorunas wrapped up, yet the low kicks, not kicking up high in the wind. And notice that the early games, the ball was holding up in the breeze. It's Magios. Made a few good breaks in the first half. Played fullback in the game against Hungary. He's out in the wing for this game. Still doing a good job. It's a good run there from Stratus. Heavy contact. Kautonga, the little halfback, equal to the task.
Greece keep working this left side of theirs and the right side of Vanuatu. They're getting offloads away now, and they keep finding the front, and the play the ball is quick, and this hooker will go soon, I think, as well. You can see he's just sniffing around.
A bit of a bobble there. Only popped out Nathan Hughes. So Alex Arunas again, he's got some chasers coming through. Tenga, the fullback, will be hoping it goes dead. It does. A good chase there from the Greece side. There was 4 guys after that, so hungry for points.
Vanuatu need one of their players to produce something big soon.
Oh, it's been stolen. Adam Vranos pinches the pocket of Stephen Tenga. So they go back on the attack. Greece early in this second half. It's the big number 15, not on our program, on our sheets.
Settling in the middle, and now they've gone to the right side. Great face ball there, but well defended. If they go short side now, Vanuatu are in trouble.
Well, that's probably a better outcome, really, because they were very short there. It's sometimes they do get a bit bunched up, the Vanuatu players.
Coach has sent the message on for the 2. Very smart.
Yep, Sam Stratus.
Taking the 2, I think.
Sam Stratus running in field. No, changed him.
I think the captain's overruled him. He definitely ran out with 2 fingers up there.
Well,
yeah, taking the 2.
We haven't had that tonight, so there's another first. Captain arguing with the coach. Well, I'm standing on a chair and I look like a spruiker. Now I'm handing out free programs.
You've got the upmarket chair, I'm still on the milk crates.
Don't say that, I'll probably collapse on me.
You've got the higher ground. Greece look energetic since the break, and unfortunately, I think at the minute it looks like it's had the opposite effect on Vanuatu. Like I've said earlier, I think the fact that the Greeks have had a 6-day turnaround as opposed to the Vanuatu 3-4 days.
Yep.
Could really be a factor now. Whereas if the game continued and Vanuatu were allowed to get a roll on, because I don't know if you remember, it seems like ages ago, but they were getting a roll on over Greece, and then there was a break in the game. If they were allowed to continue that, they might have gone in the sheds level or 6 ahead, and you could be looking at a different scoreline.
Well, it's been waved away, so it remains 16-0.
At least Greece will get the ball back now from this dropout, though, because the kick went dead. Greece just got to hold the ball and grind this out, I think, and they're very smart. They're finding a spot in the middle of the field and then just splitting the halves and either testing the edge or testing the 3 or 4 in defender.
Bit of a fumble. Back underway, and that means number 15 for Greece.
One thing the viewers on Bar TV will notice because of the low camera angle is how well the Greeks are working the ruck in defence but also in offence. They keep finding their elbows and knees, keep finding the floor, despite the Vanuatu defence coming in really hard, really severely and with all energy. Greece keep finding the front with the exception there, and then the halves on each side of the play the ball are testing the 3 and 4 in defender.
Now the ball's come loose, taking down that right hand side this time, and the pill's been spilled out there on that far side.
Greece need to go back to the left, their left, I think. That's where they had a lot of joy earlier. There's funny dynamics, you know. I was coaching the game on Thursday, and the shape of my team just came out a little bit, and I was sort of sending a message on with my trainers what's going on, and the feedback I got was that some of the players just wanted to touch the ball because the game had passed them by, and it's potentially happened here. You know, there was a lot of joy for Greece on their left, the Vanuatu right, and the other half and the other side of the field probably wants a bit more opportunity. And whereas they might have been better served just keep peppering this right side of the Vanuatu defence.
So we've got another player coming off trainer here. Might be just a bit of blood, but 22 is on the sideline, Robert Vanuatu.
You can tell it's difficult to watch at times here because a lot of the supporters are looking at your monitor behind us.
Maybe they're just looking at me because I keep getting the pronunciations wrong.
This tournament would have been the biggest challenge of your commentary career, I think.
So Vanuatu comes onto the field. So the scrum packs, and it's won by Vanuatu, Ben Lua.
Great collision again from Greece. It's going to take all the strength and all the mental reserves of Vanuatu to get back into this game. I think Greece are winning on the scoreboard, but also in every ruck and in every set at the minute.
So Avia Allen's also on for Vanuatu. It's the big number 10, Oscar.
When you see some of those players crash into each other there, you're glad you're retired, aren't you?
Certainly. That was a speed bump. Here's Henderson. So last tackle for Vanuatu. Wood at dummy half. Puts this one a bit higher. It's a test here. Could bounce anyway.
That was a very good kick.
It's been picked up here by... Oh, Greece has got that. I thought it was into the hands of Vanuatu again, but... Anyway, the Greeks have got it, and I'll bring this out for Margius.
Wood's relishing his time in the 6 jersey now. Well, he's not in the jersey, but he's in that position. Just look how Greece use the footwork at the line and find the floor. And that'll be really coming across real well on the Bar TV coverage because of the low camera angle. If the viewers just look how Greece always land on the front, try and find their elbows and knees and play the ball quickly.
So Zarunas with the kick. It's Alex Zarunas, the 5'8". It's not a bad kick. Tangas have to run for it. It might beat them over again. It does. So come back to the 20 for a restart. So this is the first emerging nations in 18 years. Obviously, you'd like to see another one. where do you think? Will we come back here to Australia or will we go to Europe?
Well, judging by the weather, we'll have to go somewhere else, won't we? Let me tell you a tale. The last Emerging Nations World Cup in 2000, I was a media officer for the World Cup and the Emerging Nations World Cup. And my coaching mentor in England, Vinnie Webb, was the coach who won that tournament with Great Britain Barla.
Hey, I can't even remember I remember the first Emerging Nations back in '95 because they had the Cook Islands and the New Zealand Maoris playing in it.
Ireland played in that, Scotland played in that, USA played in that. I think a player, if I remember rightly, a player caught hypothermia at one game. It was so cold. I might be getting my games mixed up there, but I do remember going there just as a supporter, actually. It is a pathway for these younger nations.
See, there's plenty of nations missed out on this tournament or just couldn't find the funds to get over here, such as the Netherlands and Sweden. Here's Wood again.
And they're all playing rugby league now. I mean, it's played in so many different pockets of the world. Vanuatu have done well in this set, carried the ball out well. They're very strong physically, but Greece are also very technically excellent around the room.
Just adjusting the headset there, almost fell over again. It's still on the feet. Greece bringing this out of their own territory. Zikaris. Here's a very good run here by George Zikaris. Just Margios. Stratus will go for a run from dummy half, runs into Kaltonga. So got a very special guest with us now. We've got Chris Anderson, legend coach at the NRL.
I'm going to get a selfie with him while he's talking too.
Welcome, Chris. What brings you out to the northwest?
We got a fair Greek population at Belmore, so I thought they outnumbered me, so I thought I should come out and watch them.
Fair enough, and bit of a disappointing start to this fixture, but as you just get a selfie with Lee. Well done, boys.
I'm going to put it on my Facebook.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that they've had two stoppages, but it's great to see. It's good to see all these different countries out here playing footy, European countries. It's you don't realise what's going on actually until you get out and have a look at it. I think it's a fantastic thing.
And you're back involved with rugby league, with Canterbury, of course. And what do you think they should do with this tournament moving forward to promote it even more and to get more nations involved?
I think it certainly should be promoted more because I think that's a good concept, very good concept to grow the game in Europe and in the Pacific regions. So I think it's fantastic. So we certainly need more. Maybe they could put it in closer to Sydney.
Yeah, maybe up the coast, maybe Newcastle.
Maybe
that'd be nice.
Coast. Well, I don't know. Yeah. But it's certainly a good concept. I like it.
And you keep an eye on a few of these younger players for the emerging nations, like Vanuatu. You have a word to Steve Georgialis.
George keeps us informed on what's going on with these kids. He's got a couple of kids that are playing NRL or close to NRL. So there's, you can always pick up a smoky.
Awesome, Chris. Well, thanks for joining us, mate. We'll let you get back to watching the game.
Thanks, fellas.
Thanks for the selfie.
Jeez, Chris Anderson there, former Australian coach.
He was a legend. He was a Kangaroo coach when they came over just after the 9/11 attacks, and the tour was a truncated tour, if you remember.
Yeah.
And he actually had the poor man had a heart attack in the grandstand at the JJB Stadium, and he ended up staying in Wigan for a long time at Maurice Lindsay's house, I remember. And Maurice said he drank all his wine.
So a bit of a wrestle out there right on halfway. Back underway as Tuliatu gets away to Memenzolis, running across field looking for support, gets away from another. Memenzolis, you haven't seen him run too much. There's a sneak peek of what he can do there. Zarunas goes in the dummy half, finds Vranos. Solid contact there again, the defender gingerly to his feet. So Trezors, the halfback, pumps this down. It's going to be way too deep.
A couple of those kicks keep running off, don't they, on that far end? Sorry, mate. I'm just too busy putting my selfie on Instagram.
As you do.
See, like I say, he was a real coaching hero of mine.
And Patrick Jack, he's going to get a side penalty here. Yeah, it's great to see Chris Anderson come down and watch the emerging nations, and hopefully we can see a few more. On the opening day, we had Halatau and Joseph Polo pop in, Willie Mason.
Joseph Polo's off to St Helens for 3 years. He's not long had a daughter. She's going to have an English accent when she gets back. You know what the players are like. I've just had Stephen Kolodziej text me and say he wants a mention. So what I'm going to do is mention that we have a certain rule in the team where if they do something, they've got to do 10 push-ups. And Stephen, the big prop who arrested today, he's one of the biggest culprits. He's done more push-ups than Arnold Schwarzenegger this week.
Here's Lua.
He runs a company called SK Concepts that are our major sponsor, and he's done Polish Rugby League a hell of a favour there. And talking about passion for the game and for Polish Rugby League, it just oozes out of him, and it oozes out of a few of them as well. But he was so nervous on Thursday. He said he wasn't, but he was. And then he got a cut on his melon within the first carry.
Here's Zarunas. Now Lawrence Zarunas gets away from one. Still dancing around. Lawrence Zarunas has passed 3 or 4 defenders and eventually he's brought down by Kaltonga. Here's Sirikas, and she's Margios, and mixed up. Should be able to pick Margios with the skins on underneath his jersey. Here's Memenzolis from dummy half. It's a very good run. He's got no support. Will he get around the fullback? Tenga comes to Stratus, it is in fact, and there's always a one-on-one strip, and Tenga picks it up.
That was a big play there, the one-on-one strip, but I actually think it went forward off him. I think that should be a Greek ball. I do think the signs are, though, that Greece are really getting on top of this game, and it's proven, I think, with that tackle into touch.
So still 25 minutes or so left in this game, and Luai is barreled into touch. Golden opportunity here for Greece. So
Greece just gradually they've been getting the nose through, like I keep saying, elbows and knees, playing the ball quick, and it's starting to tell now. I mean, they came upfield quite easily there. Everything of Vanuatu is going to be tested now in this last 25 minutes, did you say?
Yep.
I've got no concept of time at the minute because of those breaks.
So the scrum will pack 15 out from the line. So we've got the Zarunas boys out to the right. Here's Alex Zarunas. He might run himself. Good contact there. Good tackle. Wood over the top. Not sure who was underneath. Memenzolis goes from dummy half. He could go himself here. He will. Right next to the post. Peter Memenzolis. He's deserved that. He's had another very good game for Greece. 20-0 of a kick to come.
This has been coming for quite a while.
The Greece boys there. I'll go back halfway. There is a replay. Memenzolis just getting over. Good dart.
I hope my housemates where I'm staying in Penrith, John Doerr and Shane Harris, my trainer and my strength and conditioner, have got my dinner ready because I'll need someone to get back. It's a late night now. Or just a cup of tea will suffice. John Doerr did all the online programs I was telling you about earlier.
Yep.
He's a strength and conditioner at Ipswich State High School. Shane Harris is one of my assistant coaches along with Daniel Beardshaw. He's from Hull originally and he works for the NRL development down in Belmore at Canterbury Bankstown territory. Greece are well coached and I think they're going to be a real threat now for the rest of this tournament. I think that loss on Monday was a blip. Like I said, I just think they had too much of a case of the dropsies, but since I said they've had the case of the dropsies, they've not dropped it for the last sort of 20-30 minutes of game time. And they roll forward well, they have something on both sides of the ruck.
So Stratus, he made that break a moment ago. Nice strike. So adding the extras, now 22 points to 0. While we wait for Vanuatu to come back for the restart, we'll have to get your tip for not only the £1 million game coming up, but also the grand final between Wigan and Warrington.
I know Sean Wayne very well from my own time at Wigan, and he's a lovely, grounded man, great grounded man. The players at Wigan will jump out the skin for him whenever they pull that jersey on. And one thing about Wayne is the Wigan players will know exactly what playing for Wigan means to them every time they step on the field. Added to that, it's Sean Wayne's last game before he coaches rugby union. Steve Price has done wonders at Warrington. This is his second final of the year, but I sort of feel that Warrington might be at the end of their run. I think they played their grand final against St Helens the other day, and I think I'm tipping Wigan. The £1 million game, that's in a few hours, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, I've got a big night ahead of me because Man City play Liverpool as well. I've got to try and watch that. Toronto are on a roll, aren't they? But I can't tip that one. I'm going to sit on the fence there. Having watched last year's £1 million game, being a Salford lad, and watching that game, it went down to the wire, if you remember, and Salford won in the last minute in scenes that were very unique and enthralling. So I think when you're playing for a livelihood and full-time work versus part-time work, then players do special things. Vanuatu had a chance there, let it go. They look tired to me, Vanuatu now. I think they would have been fine if it wasn't for the 2 long breaks, but I think the short turnaround for them is starting to tell now. You just look at the body language at the scrum here. The Greeks are all stood up, shoulders back. Vanuatu hunched a little bit, and you can understand why. It's been those 2 breaks today were really tough on the players.
Yeah, and they're doing it without their leader, Michael Kokitis. He's had a long stint on the bench. He may not be back. We saw him limp off there for a while.
I think scoreboard pressure is keeping the Greeks fired up as well, and you just watch how they just complete now and just find the floor, and look how he rolled in the ruck there, got on his elbows. It's a real key thing. That's why I keep talking about it, and they get a good roll on.
Here's Stratus again. Dane just pops the pass out. Good pass from Strigas. It's been real forward. RGS cut back inside there and maybe just overrun it, the pass from Sikarikis. So,
who's your tip for the Super League final and the £1 million game?
Oh, I think I'd like to see Wigan get up.
Yeah.
For Sean Wayne. Also, there's a few players leaving. I know Tompkins is off. In the £1 million game, it's kind of hard because when I lived in London many years ago, I was a London Broncos supporter, but I've jumped on the Toronto Wolfpack bandwagon when they come in. It's kind of a tough one, but I think the Wolfpack will get home because it's at their home base at Lamport.
Wouldn't it be good to see a Toronto Wolfpack in a Super League? Wouldn't it be good to see both of them? Can we just let both of them win and let them both in?
Yeah, well, almost could have turned out that way with the slip up that Hull KR had a few weeks ago, and it was looking that one was just going to get automatic qualification. But what I'm looking forward to with the game over there is we've got Belgrade looking to enter into League One, and also Dublin. And that'll help these emerging nations as well.
Well, on the other side of my family, on my mum's side, they're all Irish, so I'll take the Dublin job if that's okay.
Well, you heard it here on Bar TV. So, a run from dummy half here. They're not giving up Vanuatu. Can they post some points?
How long's left to go now?
I'll quickly check my phone, and here's Kaltonga. Passes has been put down by Patrick Jack.
Vanuatu needed to score here, I think. Oh, they've still got the ball. They need to score here if they're going to have any chance.
So still about 18 minutes to go on the clock. It's becoming a bit of a drop-a-thon for Vanuatu. But the referee says it's gone back. So it's the last tackle. Kaltonga waits for it at dummy half. A long pass out there. It's gone to Wood in the end. Wood shapes the kick, gives it to Henderson. Henderson's going to be wrapped up there by Constantine on that far side.
Wood's doing a fine job at 5'8" or half, but if they've not practiced with him there in training, then it's still going to be a little bit difficult. But I must put my hands together for the job he's doing for them.
Sikorikas. Big charging run, Billy. He scored a try in the first half. Here's Hughes.
Did he pull up a little bit lame in that tackle then? Seemed to go into the line a bit slow. A bit ginger getting up.
Getting up now, the big fella. Here's Sikorikas again. Billy, that is. So go out to the right-hand side, inside pass, and here we go. There's a break here by Lawrence Arunas. He's got support in the inside. He may not need it. Lawrence Arunas, is he going to go all the way? He will.
Great stuff, great football.
Lawrence Arunas, he's had a fine game at fullback and scores a try to extend Greece's lead to 26-0.
I keep talking about it, Paul, but the way the Greece forwards are finding the front, quick play the ball, hooker on the back of it with a half split on each side of the field, and they had a little sort of reverse block play there, and it just left the Vanuatuans on the heels. And if you see how he turns the ball back inside now, the Vanuatu defender was flying out to tackle the inside runner, but picked the wrong one, and away he goes. Try time.
Great camera work there too by our boys.
They'll have had a long day, won't they? I hope they're on double time on a Sunday. One of the producers at the back is shaking his head.
I've got to drive Will back to Newcastle tonight.
Oh, wow.
So,
turn the heater up.
Done a great job. He's been on the camera. He's produced. They've done a bit of everything today.
Like I said earlier, I mean, the rugby league community, or the members of the rugby league community I know, are really, really thankful of the coverage you're putting together. I know my dad will be watching in England all the Poland games, and he's not missed one, so he's raving about it. My little brother Stephen, they're all raving about it. It's like it's the new age, isn't it? Anybody can watch anything now on a
sure is
on a phone, a tablet.
Stratus adds the extras. So 28-0 now.
This is game over, isn't it? I'd like to see Vanuatu get on the scoreboard. I think their effort has deserved that, and I think the 2 long injury breaks have really changed the game as a contest. I can't understate that, because it was a real nip and tuck affair, real good arm wrestle prior to that second injury break.
So the rain is back. Kaltonga boots this down into the shadows, the far end of the ground, as Taliuta takes a run. It's a very good run by Robert Taliuta. He's still going, the big man. It's a very good run from the restart.
The Vanuatu players, a lot of them from Vanuatu, or do they live locally, or is it a mix?
Majority of them are from Vanuatu,
okay,
except for the names of Wood and Henderson, Mara, who got injured, but all from the local scene. They've done a great job. They can do their nation proud.
I just hope we build on the back of this now for all these nations. When I saw Greece on the list of fixtures, I was hoping Poland never came up against them, because they're quite an established rugby league nation now.
Stratus back inside Magius. Magius is gone. He scored a try in the corner, right in front of the umbrella, or right behind the umbrella, I should say. But Nick Magius has scored another try for Greece.
The floodgates are starting to open, excuse the pun, with the weather.
They certainly have.
And I think I predicted it, didn't I, that Greece were getting on top. And
so
that umbrella's doing a good job. Look at all the water on top of it.
I hope Nick Magius scores another try in this tournament, because that one was just taken out by the umbrella.
Yeah, so when he's showing his kids or his grandkids in years to come, honestly, Daddy did score that try, or Granddad did score that try. It's a big fillip for Greece, a good performance to get them into the World Championship semi-final. Vanuatu, of course, now will play Poland in the World Trophy.
So you'll take the game home tonight. How much research do you do tonight or tomorrow?
You wouldn't believe it. We're a bit obsessed, me and my coaching staff. So I'll do I've got analysis software, and I'll chop up our game. My 2 assistants three assistants: John Doe, Shane Harris, and Dan Beardshaw. Dan lives at home, but myself, Shane, and John Doe are all staying together in Sydney. So that's just ended up being a rugby league office for 2 weeks, and they will already be analysing this opposition now. And we had a look at Vanuatu in game 1, and they already did that as well. And they sort of present that to me, and then I sort of decide if we show the players anything or nothing or what, and we start to formulate a game plan on the back. I've got to be honest, it was very hard to do Hong Kong in round 1 because there was no footage of them. There was just one domestic game. And then Japan for this game today. It didn't give us any surprises really because we have footage of them, but again they're difficult to plan for, because one thing you notice with these nations that aren't Australian, full of Australian expats, they play football in a very unique way. So I think in England and in Australia and New Zealand we tend to sort of play 2 or 3 in for a half-back to put a play on. Well, sometimes other nations, so Hong Kong and Japan, for example, they just throw the ball around. Yeah. One in and then away we go, just throw it around. It can be quite hard to plan for. Some of my players were saying that they've...
There's another good run here from Robert Tuliato.
Yeah, some of my players were saying that it was just strange tackling them because they just ran differently and did different things, and because they see the game different. Look at Greece getting a roll on now. I mean, you'd be forgiven for thinking Greece are Canterbury Bulldogs, because Georgie's coached them so well and they look like a professional outfit.
Here's a good run here by the number 15. It could be Bastos, matter of fact. He's going to get there. Good tackle.
What a carry.
Rob Franklin brought him down.
There's the umbrella again.
So a scamper from dummy half as Clinton Hughes. He's over. And another try. Apologies for the umbrellas. As I said, it's been raining here in Sydney for the last 3 or 4 days, and we've had to move to the venue. Mind you, it's a great venue, but
really good.
Unfortunately, not so good for streaming in wet weather with umbrellas.
I feel sorry for Vanuatu because this scoreline does not reflect the game that was unfolding right at the start. I keep saying it, but that second break has just changed everything.
Yeah. So Clinton Hughes gets on the score sheet for Greece. Sam Stratus will have the attempt at goal. Clinton Hughes was kind enough just to score that one in field a bit, so we could pick up the goal kicker here, Stratus. So we're into the final 10 minutes. So rain still coming down here at the ponds. Those ponds would have to be full by now.
I just hope it's getting to the farmers out west.
Well, they got it as Stratus takes his kick. Oh, it's hit the post, deflected. Well, we've got an update from the race out at Bathurst, and they did have a little bit of rain, but hopefully they got a lot more out there.
I don't know the first thing about that sport, so that means nothing to me. When I first moved to Australia, somebody went Holden or Ford. I replied Jaguar. Or Rover.
Yeah, my family, they're car nuts, especially my brother. Not so much, as long as it's got petrol in it, it goes. That's all that matters. And Greece goes straight on the attack here from the kickoff.
Oh no, this is going to blow out if Vanuatu aren't careful.
George Sikarikis.
What's the score? I'm terrible at keeping score. I've not got a clue.
32 points to 0.
That's not fair on Vanuatu.
There's Bastos.
Do you agree, Paul? It's not been a 32-0 scoreline.
No, definitely not. They've certainly stuck with it. Here's Tuliato again. He's made some good runs since he's come on. Robert Tuliato pops the pass out the back. Stratus picks it up. He runs straight back into Tenga. Yeah, definitely not. They haven't given up, but as you said, that a couple of stoppages in play, it certainly affected them.
Referee's been good. The game hasn't been dominated by his whistle. I think most of his calls have been on the money.
Here's Bastos. As I said, I'm not sure if it was said it in this game. I've done so many games over the last couple of days, but yeah, the refereeing all through the tournament has been brilliant.
Yeah. The spirit of the play has been good too. I mean, not much foul play from what I've seen, and players are getting on excellently.
So Trezes with a little chip over the top. Tenga's back there. It's an awkward bounce. Rob Franklin cleans it up. Also got cleaned up himself.
We all might have to get cleaned up. We're all wet. I'll put some new clothes on.
Tenga. Oh.
Greece are
Good
hungry.
defence.
You know, Greece could play for another hour the way they're going. They're full of energy.
Here's Napa Karuna. Napa Karuna still going.
Am I right in thinking that they'll probably play Malta in the semi-final now, Greece?
I
That'll
think
be
so,
a great
'cause
game.
New A won both their pool games. That's another team I forgot. New A. They very big side, mobile side.
Turkey looked good to me too.
Here's Wood from dummy half.
There's no mistaking Wood, is there, with that head of hair?
Well, I was looking forward to the battle of the dreadlocks of Wood and Zampatides on the other side, but they haven't come in contact. We saw a couple of shoelaces get tangled up in the Polish-Japanese game. I was looking forward to maybe some dreadlocks getting tangled up as well.
I heard you talking about the numbers on the Japanese jerseys when we were studying Japanese tape. They were difficult. I was stood up close to one before and still couldn't read it.
Yeah, no favours, but unfortunately they were in a pool where they played Turkey and Poland, who both had red jerseys with white V. So we didn't get to see the familiar Samurai's jersey. Mamazolas from dummy half.
They can be full of pride about what they've done too, and they'll play a bowl game, I think, now on Tuesday or Thursday. Japan. I'd love to see Japan versus Hong Kong.
Yeah, well, they've played a couple of times against each other over the years. There's a good kick there from Mamazolas. It's been spilt, and there's a try. I think it's the number 12 there for Greece. George Tikarikis. Hard to tell over that far side. His body's everywhere.
Vanuatu need to keep the chins up. They didn't deserve this scoreline. They're such combatants, and it's just not fair at all. But Greece, on the other hand, have been excellent. Steve Georgialis is some coach.
Apologies there, it was Terry Constantine.
What about that trainer? I bet he's enjoying life in his short shorts and t-shirt, or polo shirt.
Yeah, I used to run water for Wodonga Storm under 15s back in the day when I lived down Albury, Wodonga, and I remember running water on a cold, freezing day at Tumut. Have you ever been down to Tumut?
No.
Down on
I've heard of Tumut, and I know people who've been there. I've just never made it. This weather won't be doing much for the New South Wales Tourist Board if people are watching it on live stream. There'll be people in Greece saying we'll stay where we are, thank you very much. Vanuatu, no doubt.
Well, it's October. It's almost every time they race at Bathurst, it rains this weekend. So Stratus, you can see that rain coming down on your screen.
Well, Greece have certainly played perfect wet weather football for the last portion of this game. Steve Georgialis is so calm, you wouldn't know who's in the middle of a game of football. To catch up with him, I've not seen him since I was at Penrith with him in 2011, and he was just so calm. It's like he'd just been on, like he was on holiday. Final hooter.
Yep, full time here at the Ponds, and it's Greece rounding out winners, 38 points to 0. My headset just falls off again. Apologies there. Greece, strong performance. They go into the semi-finals in a couple of days' time. Lee, thanks for joining us, mate. It's great to have you on board. Hopefully we'll get you back on commentary throughout the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for everything you and Bar TV are doing too for my team, my boys, and players who don't get this exposure normally are getting amazing exposure thanks to you guys. So thanks to everyone in the background too. Thank you. Yep,
thanks to everyone at Bar TV, all the camera crew, production staff today. It's been a great effort, too many to mention, so we'll get out of here. We'll try and keep warm for the rest of the night, and we'll see you on Tuesday at Bar TV Sports. Good night.